Brought to you by Usual Suspects.
You gotta be quicker than that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No! You gotta be quicker than that.
Suspect6.com.
It's a Usual Suspect day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to another edition of Night Court. This is Honorable Judge Galvatron. You may all be seated. Today we got a case. In the case of Bud Crawford. I don't know how many times Bud is going to be tried, but unfortunately, the LDBC Court of Law has brought him to my courtroom again after I was promised that I would no longer have to see him in my courtroom.
Objection, Your Honor.
What's the objection?
I don't know. I just thought it would be a cool thing to say. Sorry.
Objection, Your Honor. You can't use objections for coolness.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sustained. I will give the DA, this is District Attorney Fool J, Mr. Fool J. I will give him the opportunity to let us know what Bud is being charged with.
Good afternoon, Judge Galvatron.
Good afternoon, Mr. DA Fool J.
Good afternoon to mighty LDBC. Let me start off by saying that Terence Budrick Crawford is a brilliant boxing mind. He's a brilliant fighter, and some which we have unconditional love for, and I understand that. But there's something called accountability that we must show to Mr. Crawford, and it's not done within malice. It's done within the guidelines of love. But in this case, he's being brought up on misdemeanor charges. And it states as follows. He's being brought up on a misdemeanor charge, subdivision STR 8-H8. Might want to write that down.
Yes, I'll write that. I'll put it on the record.
Yes.
Counselor.
That would be a straight hate. One charge, attempted legacy suicide. One charge, jealousy of contemporary. But what I'm willing to do today is I'm willing to combine both charges and reduce it to one count of idiocy, which makes it one minor violation.
Wow.
And I think that's a fair way to go. And that's what I'm looking to do, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Mr. District Attorney. Thanks for your opening statement. Would that be all for your opening statement?
That'll be all for now.
Okay. Does the defense want to cross-examine the charges? The Mr. Lincoln lawyer himself. How are you doing this morning or afternoon?
The defense is doing splendid. Um, I think all the jurors that showed up for this frivolous case, this mockery of justice, this afternoon, instead of conducting these legalities, my peoples, we should be celebrating this national treasure. Instead, the community is showing a love for irrational pleasure. Hmm?
Hmm.
Don't play with us. Because last time we had to pop out and show ninjas. Hmm? Last time we popped out, the council was a no-show, ninjas. Still burdened from the loss. They couldn't handle the load. Now they here peeing on my client, sitting, claiming they stand cold. I mean, I feel like our peoples is now having a little bit of amnesia. So, you know what? Let me remind them. That's why I'm giving you these bars. Because Bud don't deserve to be behind them. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I will show you the illegitimacy, the frivolousness, the decrepitness of these charges. Today, I will remind the people, the boxing community, the LDBC, that the pound for pound king shall speak freely in the land of the free. Our brother Budrick has already paid his dues and already paid for his transgressions in the past. So with that being said, we plead not guilty to all these frivolous charges, included the straight hate charge under the STDRH 8 code, the legacy suicide charge, absolutely frivolous. We will destroy and prove that charge is indeed frivolous. And jealousy of a contemporary, not guilty, one count of idiocy. No, we'll show you that we have many counts of being smart in this boxing business, in this boxing game. I will land the plane on that.
Yes, sir. That's a strong that's a strong argument. It's a strong argument. Um, Now I'm bringing the district attorney up because I know the district attorney wants to point out and show us evidence. He wants to show me and the jury evidence of Terrence Bud Crawford's activities. So I will allow Mr. District Attorney Fool J, Mr. Fool J, if you don't mind, could you try to elaborate on the evidence that you have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The okay.
First and foremost, uh, uh, Judge Galvatron, and to the people of the court, let me remind you that Bud's place in history is not in question. What is in question is his lack of knowledge in the sport that he participates in. And there lies the problem. Hence, me trying to combine two charges into one to one minor violation of idiocy. Let me go to my share screen. Can you see the shared screen, sir?
So he has evidence that
Yes,
he's
sir.
trying to present. Okay. We'll pull it up.
This
There
would
you
be
go.
the pound for pound interview in which Budrick sat on the couch with Kamaru and Henry, two MMA fighters. And let it be known that what he's doing is he's having a boxing conversation with mixed martial artists, which is mind blowing. I work for New York City Transit. And as a bus operator, people come to me and ask me about trains all the time. And I just stare at them. Why? Although we work under the same umbrella of mass transit, I am not a train operator. I am not a train operator. One moment, please.
Objection, Your Honor. This is absolutely
Overruled.
unprofessional.
Overruled. I'll allow it. I will
Thank you.
allow it.
I'm back.
We'll take that off the record of the
Thank
phone
you.
call. We will take that off the phone call.
I'll
We'll take that off the
I'll
record. Continue.
make sure
Mr.
that what
Ford,
I'm
yeah.
saying here is relevant. This actually is the one charge of legacy suicide. I'm proving it right here in this very interview. What Bud does is he discredits Errol Spence. Now, I need the jury to understand what the charges are. Let me reiterate. The charges are not whether Bud has solidified his place in history in boxing, because he has. The charges aren't whether you like him or not, because that's irrelevant. What he's done is magnificent. However, his approach towards his situation involving his place in history, he literally yanked the rug from underneath his own feet in this very interview. To discredit to discredit Errol Spence's place in history is to discredit himself, because Errol Spence is his most important win in his career. Never mind the circumstances in which they happened. That's all speculation. The point is, this man went in there and dominated Errol Spence Jr. Dominated in outstanding fashion. I was there. But to discredit Errol Spence is to discredit himself. Your most important victory. As it pertains to his past, does his past excuse his future? For example, just because somebody's wealthy, does that mean they get to treat people who are not wealthy any way they want? No. What Bud Crawford did in this interview was a bit disrespectful to Errol Spence Jr., whom I might add didn't have to make that fight. So he extended the olive branch to his brother, and they broke bread, which is exactly how it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, Bud Crawford, who is in desperate need of public relations, got on this show and he displayed jealousy. And at some point, I often wondered, was he attempted to commit career suicide. Speaking of his past, there was a point in time when we found out why he couldn't fight Manny Pacquiao. It had everything to do with the man that he aligned himself with at Top Rank, the man by the name of Bob Arum. And when Bob Arum admitted that, we as a community were outraged. And as we were displaying our outrage, Terence Budrick Crawford said that we didn't know his heart as a means to calm us down, as a means to say that we don't understand Bob Arum. Oh, we do. Bob Arum has a history of fraudulent behavior. He's been investigated by the FBI. He has been told, well, he has admitted in the court of law that he has fixed fights. There's a no black fighter rule in Top Rank. All of these things. And Budrick still went over the Top Rank and defended Bob Arum. And through all of that, we still support this man. But that does not mean that we can't hold him accountable when he says something foolish, as he did on this show. Now, I'll play a bit of this clip. Fair use.
Yes, sir. I'll allow it. We'll make sure that
First of all, I want you to
Pound for pound list, Kush?
Yeah, I do. I gotta get.
Now, let me point out, he's talking about a pound for pound list to 2 MMA fighters.
Your pound for pound list.
Remember, I'm a bus operator, not a train operator. I have to tell people in the public that don't know the difference, but they don't know the difference. All 3 men are great fighters in their respective disciplines, but 2 of them do not know boxing. And the sad part is, it didn't seem that Bud knew boxing. Or did he? Was he displaying jealousy or extraordinary ignorance? Let us listen.
That's your top 5.
Yeah,
I gotta
pound for
get
pound
that.
list and then pound for pound greatest boxers ever.
Dang.
5.
5.
And I want to tell you one, and I don't think you could dispute this one. But then I'll tell you.
All right.
Manny Pacquiao. 8 division world champ.
Cold.
Took chances. Fought everybody.
Well, let him give his list first.
Go ahead, my bad. I just had to because he's trying to go up, and I'm like, that's
he just put his
Wait,
Manny Pacquiao is a popular pick. The irony behind that is that the 2 MMA guys don't know that the man that he chose to promote him didn't allow that fight to happen. And I wonder why Budrick didn't let them know that. But he found time to discredit Errol Spence, which is his most important win. But let's listen.
He can't.
No, but he asked me.
He can't put his list on my list.
Yeah.
Because I don't got Manny Pacquiao top 5.
You don't.
No.
8 division world champ.
All right,
8.
give me your pound for pound right now.
We got me. We got Inoue. We got Canelo. We got Usyk.
Did you put Davis in there?
Stop giving him his bro. Let my man give his list.
What you got to, man? Still no. Like he said.
I'll stop right there. Inoue, Canelo doesn't have Pacquiao on there. He has himself on there. And he's hesitant at number 5. Now, I know that pound for pound lists are extremely subjective. I understand that. However, listen to the list and listen to who's speaking. He also had a heavyweight on there. A heavyweight. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Objection, Your Honor. He's a heavyweight that was once a crew that did most of his career at cruiserweight.
Order in my court of law. Gentlemen, I'm not running the kangaroo court, as you guys know. Overruled, Steels. Please, Mr. Fool J, continue your point so that me and the jury can hear so that we can see what Counselor Steels is talking about. Please continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. As I was saying, heavyweights are not supposed to be on pound for pound list. And although Usyk campaigned at cruiserweight and was clearly dominant, he campaigns at a heavyweight now, which means technically he's the baddest boxer on the planet. So everybody should be compared to Alexander Usyk. Because if that's the case, Deontay Wilder, who's technically a cruiserweight, campaigns where? At heavyweight. So no one should be compared to anyone who campaigns above cruiserweight. So, to my point, just because Bud Crawford is the best boxer in the world, pound for pound, he displayed an excruciatingly painful amount of ignorance and idiocy in this very interview, and we must hold him accountable. And I'll land the plane right there.
Wow. Strong argument by the district attorney. Very strong argument. Does the defense have anything to add on to the exhibit that the district attorney has showed?
Yes, indeed, Your Honor. If you could share my screen when I give you the cue.
Yes.
Please and thank you. But to this exhibit that Counselor Fool J has shown us, I see no real problem with a subjective list that is being ushered forth by the pound for pound king. I see no problem with the pound for pound king outreaching, going on different platforms, cross promoting, fellowshipping with his combat brothers. See, the transit system might be a little bit different than the subway system or the light rail system, but they're still under the same umbrella. Those brothers of transit, of mass transit, will still fellowship together. They will still be involved in conferences together. They still utilize and have been indoctrinated with the same rules and regulations and codes together. So I don't see the problem in a king from boxing to former kings in MMA, which is all under the same umbrella of combat sports, to be discussing combat. But with that being said, Your Honor, can you please share my screen and allow me to illustrate some of these exhibits?
No problem. Okay. Jury, could you see the evidence presented to you? I guess I can see the evidence. Okay, yes, we see it clear now. Go ahead, proceed.
So even though that we didn't really hear any slight yet, we just heard Bud's opinion on his pound for pound, which I guess part of these charges of idiocy is because Budrick didn't mention Spence in his pound for pound. I don't know why this was even put forward. But what has been said in this interview, which Counselor Fulje might present later on in his frivolous case, is that Bud appeared to say that the big fish is not Hall of Fame bound. He is not, not Hall of Fame bound, but as of today, he's not in the Hall of Fame. But I sit here today and tell y'all that these aren't words of idiocy. These are words of encouragement. When you look at the long list of inductees into the Boxing Hall of Fame, what you will notice is that you see fighters that have been inducted because they've had longevity at the championship level. They've had multiple championship, multiple times, multi-divisional, undisputed, over 100 plus fights with 100 plus knockouts. Extraordinary, exemplary Olympic achievements, medaling, Olympic championships. These are the mixes of criterias when you're looking at the long list of inductees in the Boxing Hall of Fame. If we can look at Bud, who started his career, his professional career in 2008. Yes, he didn't make the Olympic team. His Olympic dreams were cut short by none other, we're being real out here, none other than the world kid, Saddam Ali. But Budrick moved on from that hardship and turned professional in 2008. 6 years later, he obtained his first belt at lightweight in 2014. From there, in 2015, he fought Raimundo Beltran for the Ring Magazine Championship. We know what happened there. 2016, he moves up in weight to 140, secures a belt, 2 belts in fact, and then goes for undisputed against Julius Ndongo. We know what happened. 2018, he moves up in weight, fights Jeff Horn, secures the WBO championship. 2018 to 2013 is what a good 5 years where the big fish said the famous quotes, "Allow me to clean up my side of the street and you clean up your side of the street." 2023, they finally meet. We know what happened. There was supposed to be a rematch in between the time of 2023 and 2024. We know what happened. Budrick moves up in weight in 2024, fights Madrimov to secure his first world championship at 154. And now is in talks, in solid talks, to fight the undisputed champion at 168, Canelo Alvarez. When we look at the Big Fish's career that started in 2012, mind you, he made the Olympics, but his Olympics was cut short in the quarterfinals by an unknown Russian. Great amateur career, I believe, over 100 wins to only maybe 15 losses. But nothing extraordinary when it comes to his amateur accolades on the international level. Once again, he started off in 2012, secured his first welterweight belt at 2017, which was that IBF belt, in a great back and forth performance that he ultimately grinded out and stopped Kell Brook. 2 years later, we see the Big Fish secure his second belt, which was against Sean Porter for that WBC, in an excellent back and forth battle that Big Fish did just a little bit more, especially with that knockdown towards the end of the fight. 2022, approximately 3 years later, the third belt comes into play. This is what you call cleaning up on your side of the street, but it's taken a while, 5 years, 2017 to 2022. We finally have Ugas in the ring. We know what happened. The Big Fish secures that belt, and then it went all downhill when he met up with Budrick in 2023. And since then, he's done nothing. He's been missing. There's been rumors of him coming back against, once again, Budrick for the rematch. That never came to fruition. He was seen in the ring with Sebastian Fundora for an undeserved unified championship. But once again, that never came to fruition. Now we're hearing absurd talks of him possibly going back down to 147 to match himself against Marios Barrios. But we're still trying to find the Big Fish. Looking at these timelines and looking at the graph, it's a direct and clear illustration that our brother Budrick is not reaching. He's extending fair criticism. Once again, Errol Spence only has 29 fights. I've yet to find an inductee in the Hall of Fame that has less than 30 fights, that hasn't conquered multiple divisions, hasn't been a 2-time or 3-time champion. But our brother Budrick is supposed to be charged with idiocy. I think our brother Bud is speaking at the gospel, extending fair criticism in hopes that the Big Fish will get back into the ocean and start terrorizing the landscape and the oceanscape once again? Can we call idiocy on a man that's still in his competitive prime? Budget Crawford is not retired. Budget Crawford is still in the midst of things, as well as the big fish is still a potential opponent in the future. There's no need for our brother Budget to be saying sweet nothings. This is a combat sport, damn it. I've illustrated the careers, and we can clearly see it. But let me also illustrate some more of Bud's achievements, because we're claiming this man is a man of idiocy, being charged with 1 count, charged with straight hating. How? When Bud's outreach is for the people, puts back into this community B&B Boxing Academy, a boxing gym that is
Objection, relevance.
Overruled. Continue. Steels. Counselor Steels.
Thank you, Your Honor. I shall proceed. Now, this is a great gym in the community that's helping the community, uplifting the community, as well as uplifting the sport of boxing. We hear the assertions and the shames of the capitalist Floyd Mayweather saying that he's about to buy up, or he done bought 40 to 50 buildings in New York City. But you don't hear the actual facts of our brother Budrick owning over 100 properties in Missouri, Colorado, and Nebraska. That's light work. That's something our brother Budrick just, you know what I mean, holds under wraps. You don't flaunt that. But he's supposed to be charged with idiocy. The city council must be idiotic because they chose to rename Larimore Avenue in Omaha, Nebraska to Terence Bud Crawford Street.
Objection, relevance.
I'll allow it. Overruled. I'll allow it. Continue on, Mr. Steels, but please, let it be of importance to the jury and myself. We'll keep it on the record. Continue.
Your Honor, this is all relevancy to the outreach and for the good of what Bud does in the community. He's been charged with straight hating, but I'm showing you the straight greatness and the straight equality that Bud brings to the sport of boxing and to the boxing world. I'm questioning these charges of jealousy and legacy suicide when he's been establishing his legacy with a boxing academy, when he's established his legacy by having a street named after him. establishing his legacy worldwide by securing multiple missions in Rwanda and Uganda, giving Rwandans and Ugandans in rural villages fresh, clean water, assisting with the drilling of wells in those countries, outreach. But we want to charge him with straight hate. Where is the hate? He's showing an upliftment of his people. See, Bud might not be for your imaginary code. Bud might not be for the culture, but Bud is for the sport. Huh? Bud is for the sport, because the man that you say he discredits, I don't see him outside. I don't see him outside uplifting the sport and supporting women's boxing. You see our brother Broderick right there with the GWOAT at her last fight. What? Flint, Michigan, flew out there to see her secure that heavyweight championship in style. Huh? Then flies over to Las Vegas to show support to the welterweight champion, I believe, the unified welterweight champion, the Michaela Mayer. See, not only does he support women's boxing publicly, privately he advises and trains the young and up-and-coming fighters. Counselor Fool J wants to talk about his former employer, Top Rank, but failed to mention that our brother Broderick sued Top Rank, for the benefits of the next generation. Now, have we seen the improvements of black promotion on Top Rank? I think we can say we can. Shout out that 7 Cities card with Keyshawn Davis heading the bill against De Los Santos, putting the 7 cities on the map with that whole concept. I can say we can see the benefits of Bud suing Top Rank. So once again, I'm trying to see where the idiocy is. All I see is smart moves from a man that's on the top of his competitive game, the pound for pound king, a man that is in the land of the free, where free speech is supposed to be status quo. He uttered his pound for pound list, as well as gave fair criticism to one of his former foes, who has since fell on inactivity and has failed to jump back on the horse. This ain't reaching. This is a extending. This is an extension to fair criticism. I'll land the plane.
Yes, sir, Mrs. Steels. Very long argument. Thanks for presenting your evidence. Counselor Fool J, would you like to cross-examine anything that he referenced in this case?
Not necessarily cross-examine because I have no questions for him, but I do have statements.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Actually, the graph, I'm glad he left it up there. It actually proves my point. Spence not being on Bud's pound for pound list wasn't the argument. Have we gotten away to what the argument is? The argument is what he said during that interview, which brought about the charges of legacy suicide and jealousy. Your Honor, he brought up all of these accolades that Bud has outside of the ring. That is not disputable. It's indisputable. At no point did you hear me say that Bud is a bad person outside the ring. At no point did you hear me say that he's not a Hall of Famer. At no point did you hear me say that he's not pound for pound #1 in the world. I didn't say that. I said in this interview, he's guilty. And being that he's such a good brother, I'm willing to combine the two and get it away from a biz demeanor and bring it down to a minor violation in which he will not be charged anything significant. That's the argument. So the long stroke was unnecessary. That's why I said objection, relevance, because we know all of that about Bud. But let's entertain that. You brought up Bud's record. Errol's not supposed to care about Bud until he got to 147. When he got to 147, that lied the problem. Errol Spence absolutely said, I'm going to clean up my side of the street. And that he did. Indeed, he did. What did Bud do at 147? We got Kell Brook, whom I might add in this interview. He discredited Errol Spence for the Kell Brook win. He said, well, his eye was already broke. This is where fighters need PR people. Because we've been saying for how long? Yeah. Kell Brook's eye was broken by Gennady Golovkin. Errol Spence broke the other eye. And nobody said Kell Brook was done. Bud Crawford fought him last and stopped him. Did anybody say that he was used goods? No. What did we do? We gave Bud Crawford full credit. You understand? This is not an attack on Bud Crawford's this is not an attack on him as a person. That's not what this is. We're discussing what he did to himself in this interview. Everything that the Lincoln lawyer said about Bud Crawford in reference to how he gives back to the community and how he supports female boxing is 100% true. But that's not what's on trial today, is it? I am questioning his lack of knowledge. No, I'm actually exposing and bringing charges on his lack of knowledge. And this is how we want him to get better. Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Madrimov. We know what happened. Right? Isn't there a question mark over the Madrimov fight? Do you not hear LL Fool J and Drew Titan, LLC, say, we picked Canelo to lose to Budrick in outstanding fashion? This is not frivolous punishment. This is actually an outreach because we want to protect the brother from himself. You mentioned the Top Rank lawsuit. Well, I mentioned it. Does anybody know what happened with that lawsuit and why did it go away? I'm not concerned about what they're doing after that. Does anybody know what happened? He was suing him 1 minute and then the lawsuit vanished and it's not being spoken about anymore, which means usually somebody took money to keep quiet. And Top Rank has a lot of it. You know, Top Rank and, Barbarian with the illegal activities, Daniel Kennedy, whatever, irrelevant. Strike that from the record. Bud gives back I could easily say, so do drug dealers. They sell turkeys in the hood, in the same hoods that they sell drugs in. You sell the crack, but give away the turkeys on Thanksgiving. Throw off the scent. Beautiful work. This isn't an attack against Bud Crawford. This is an olive branch. This is an attempt to save him from himself. Does his past excuse his future? 147, who did all the heavy lifting? Errol did. And I'll stand on this. The graph proves my point. Errol is in such a position of power at 147, he didn't have to fight Bud Crawford. He went around Al Heyman and everybody else. While Budrick, when he was looking for a deal, what did he do? Can I remind you what did Budrick do? Did he not go to Dubai and talk to Daniel Kinahan and take that picture with Tyson Fury? See, I didn't want to bring this up, but we're talking about integrity. What did LL Fool J and Drew Titan LLC do?
Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. He's
Overruled.
Bud has already served time for these.
You could cross-examine whatever he said right after. Continue.
Thank you. Even when Bud did that, it wasn't an attack on him. It was more of a, brother, what are you doing? His camp was questioned. His camp, everyone questioned, hey, man, if Bud don't know, because Bud is a gym rat, his job is to get in that gym and be ready to be the best, and he is the best. He don't have time to figure out who he's going around. He's supposed to have people around him to say, deal with him, don't deal with him, don't deal with him, don't deal with him. But he went to Dubai and spoke to Daniel Kinahan, and I had a meltdown. Justifiably so, because where's Daniel Kinahan now? Where's MTK Global now? Why was you down in Saudi with Tyson Fury, who cheated your brother Deontay Wilder? Cheated him. Why are you down there talking to him? Nobody told him what was up? Nobody. Excellent. But I'm still here saying that man's number one pound for pound in the world. And we forgave him. Did we not? We forgave that man. Errol Spence Jr. did not have to fight Bud Crawford. He ran around all the red tape. And not one time did Budrick Crawford complain about money. When Al Heyman and the PBC was involved in that, he told Budrick, I'm not letting anybody near this fight. And Errol Spence says, nah, I'm going to break bread with my brother Bud. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to break bread with him. They were dapping it up. It wasn't nasty. I went to the presser in New York, and I told Bomac, shout out to y'all for getting this done. The money was never our issue. I'm glad Budrick is happy. And I gave him a pound. It's on Drew Titan LLC's channel. You can go look at it. And Errol got destroyed. Fair. It's boxing. But I'm glad to see the brothers have gotten it done. This isn't an attack on Bud at all. I'm saving him from himself. For him to turn around and says, we're not talking about his pound for pound list. We were talking about his place in the Hall of Fame. He said Errol falls short. How? When your career-defining fight is against Errol Spence, the man who broke bread with you. Now I have to question that. Your brother broke bread with you and you kicked his ass. Where is your code, Budrick? Uh-oh. Budrick, where's your code? Where is it? Because Errol would never say that about you. Errol cleaned up his side of the street, right? By the way, there's a man on that list. Udanis Ugas. Vaguely, I remember. And I'll ask the jury. Wasn't it not too long ago where Budrick could have fought Udanis Ugas? He didn't do it. Is it because he lost to him in the amateurs? I didn't harp on it. Some did, most didn't. I didn't harp on it at all. But I always wondered, Why didn't you fight Ugas? Why did Errol have to go do that? Errol flipped his car a million times, drunk driving, came out and fought Danny Garcia. Now we want to talk about jealousy. Could this be, and I think it is, that no matter what Budrick does, he feels slated because he's not getting the recognition that he feels he deserves, even in beating Errol in the fashion that he did. If Errol Spence announced his comeback today, I'm coming back in 2 months, and I'm fighting Willie Whatsit from wherever, he could sell out Dallas right now. Budrick can't do that. Because the sad fact is, a handful of people don't care. And I've stood in the pocket for Budrick, which is why I'm disappointed that he says Errol Spence is not a Hall of Famer. Not the pound for pound list. Let's be clear on what we're talking about. We're not talking about Bud's pound for pound list. And by the way, he put Tank there on his pound for pound list. Does birds of a feather flock together?
Objection.
Yeah.
No, he didn't, Your Honor. That was that was inserted by one of the hosts, by the Latino host. He put Tank on the pound. You was trying to put Tank on the pound for
Exhibit A,
list.
ladies. Exhibit A. Listen.
Thank you. Please run it.
Continue.
Oh, what'd he say?
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
You can put Tank in there.
Could you rewind it one more time, Steve? Counselor Fool J.
Okay. Listen very carefully.
Okay.
Host says, what about Tank? Bud is his own man. He didn't have to agree. But instead, he says this. Listen carefully.
Just thinking about, other fighters. But you can put Tank in there.
What? Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, this is irrelevant.
The Lincoln lawyer brought it up.
No, it's irrelevant, Your Honor.
He brought it up. Now it's irrelevant.
No, because Your Honor,
he brought it up.
Judge Galvatron has had Tank on his list. Had a Tank on his pound for pound list.
Your Honor, that's
so are you making the judge irrelevant?
That wasn't Judge Galvatron. That was ACT. Judge Galvatron and ACT are two different entities, but continue. Proceed.
Your Honor, I just made a statement that Bud put Tank on his pound for pound list, top 5. The Lincoln lawyer said he did not. I just played you in the jury the evidence. He made it relevant, so now it's relevant. But moving on. This is what I'm talking about. We have to save Bud from himself. He's hurting himself. I love the brother. I love the fact that him and Errol Spence was able to make money, millions of dollars. I still don't know what the purses are. You know why? Because I don't care. I'm happy to see it. What's disappointing and frustrating is that Terence Bud Crawford is not displaying an equal amount of love to Errol Spence. And that is tragic. Absolutely. It's absolutely tragic. I'm just referring to my notes. Look, Bud is appearing to be ungrateful. And it's a sad state of affairs. And Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Lincoln lawyer referred to Bud Crawford as a national treasure. Is it true that you're Canadian?
Order. It has nothing to do with the LDBC court of law.
Huh?
It has nothing to do with the LDB. I'm gonna strike that off the record.
It's a national treasure. He has no say. Now, this is coming from a place of love. We love Budrick Crawford. My problem is not with his boxing career. I defend it. My problem is not with how he's giving back to the audience. And I've actually heard people say he's only doing it to be like Errol, and I disagree. He's only doing it to get love like Errol naturally has. I disagree. He's a stand-up man. He's not in any trouble outside the ring. He's the only fighter to put Teofimo Lopez in his place. And for that, I appreciate Bud. But I need him to be careful. Because people saw what he said sitting on the couch talking boxing with two MMA fighters. Once again, I am a bus operator. But people ask me about the happenings of the train all the time. Your Honor, you live in New York.
Yes.
Just because I wear a similar uniform to a train operator doesn't mean I know what's going on, and doesn't mean that person knows what's going on with the bus. We're two different people. And I'll let the defense rest right there.
Mr. Lincoln, do you have anything to add for the jury and myself?
Indeed, Your Honor. Once again, I do and am entitled to my say, especially under the defense of Sir Budrick. And two, which qualifies me, the blood does bleed. FBA blood. Don't forget, before there was borders, there was just one land. You dig? So I am more than qualified to speaketh on this national, which should be a national treasure. I'm more than qualified. But, Your Honor, if you can present my screen once again, because I want to show you the hypocrisies. I want to show you the hypocrisies. Now, once again, this is what we call the Hall of Fame. This is what the counsel Fool J wants you to believe is a Hall of Fame career. In my opinion, it's more belts, more problems. Errol Spence, great job, was able to acquire 3 belts, but in the span of that championship so-called reign, he had 3 accidents.
Objection, relevance!
The relevancy is that if you were having bad accidents, that takes you out of the ring. That takes you away from doing your job properly.
Relevance, damn it! We're talking about what Bud said on the show.
That takes away from having you perform in legacy type fights.
Your Honor, this has nothing
legacy
to do
type
with what Bud said on the
Order in the court. You gotta turn this into a kangaroo court.
Against Manny Pacquiao. What happened? He had to pull out because of the eye injury, which was caused by the October 2019.
Your Honor, this has nothing to do with what Bud said.
October 2019. January 2020, another car crash that delayed another fight because Errol Spence complained of a leg injury. This is why we have a long span of Errol Spence cleaning up his side of the street, because he was crashing his car all up this side of the street and that side of the street. It took him 5 years to clean it up. 5 years.
He does have a point, counselor. He does have a point.
Your Honor, this has nothing to do with what Bud said on the couch.
This has everything to do with a Hall of Famer's career. The hypocrisy. Look at Counselor Drew. Make sure you subscribe to Drew Titan right here on YouTube. But look at Counselor Drew and his avid love for Big Turkey Al-Sheikh. Turkey destroying the old way of boxing. Look, he even has our brother Al Heyman assimilated. Assimilated. This is nasty work. PBC to work with Turkey. Resistance is futile. But guess what? Your favorite Big Turk loves our brother Budrick. Is his topic ambassador, if not top American ambassador. You see Big Turk with the green WBC tee on.
Your Honor.
Came to the man and watched him train. Wanted to get some work in with him at the wild card gym. You see it there.
Your
Please
Honor,
count
You see the love. Once again, look at the love that Counselor Fool J has for Big Turk. But we want to take his top dog, his top ambassador, and lock him behind bars. I don't think Big Turk would be good with this, Your Honor. Look at Budrick in the back counting the money with Big Turk. Look at this. The hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. You want to talk about pictures with Kinahan, Counselor Fool J. But let's talk about pictures with a racist. A racist that wanted to dig up George Floyd and kill him again.
When was that picture taken, Counselor?
When was the picture taken of Bud and Kinahan, Your Honor?
Okay.
Way back in time, a time before he's already paid for his dues and his crimes. So once again, that time is irrelevant. If you want to make it, and if you want to make it relevant, then let's make this relevant. Let's make this relevant then, because the big fish is out here fraternizing with racists. Let's make and allow us to make this relevant too. Allow us to make this relevant too.
Order in the court. Order in the court. Let him go his direction. I will allow you to rebuttal any arguments that he has, Counselor. And after that, we will have final arguments, or closing arguments after that. Continue on, Mr. Lincoln.
Once
now,
again,
what does Yellow Beezy have to do with the case?
Once again, the hypocrisy, because, Your Honor, what he has to do with the case is that the fact that Counselor Fool J has frequently and continuously brought up Crawford's picture and his talk in association with the famed crime boss that's allegedly on the run, Daniel Kinahan. But I present to you the hypocrisy, because the big fish has been deeply associated, as you see in the picture. We see the former unified champ necking another man who is Yellow Beezy, or also known as Yellow B. You know what I mean? Well, we also see his companion wearing the man down chain. When have we ever seen another man rock another man's chain? Because I scoured the internet to try to see our brother Frank Martin, to see if he got a man down chain too. Because he's on the promotion. You know what I mean? But he don't got one. But Yellow B got a man down chain. And Yellow B, guess what? Yellow B is on lock on a RICO charge. On a RICO charge, because why? A great talent by the name of Mo 3 was murked on the interstate. A great talent that actually I heard during the intermission of the fight on the WBC Grand Prix, all the way in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I heard Mo 3 come outside. This man's music has made it overseas.
Rockefeller.
Overseas. But this man right here, H. Boone Coon, the Big Fish's Bay. You see the necking. This is not whispering sweet nothings. This is legitimate necking caught on camera. You see the caption. Black love is the best love. The hypocrisy. If we want to talk about Bud's past with Kinahan, let's talk about the Big Fish's past as well, associated with unsavory characters, such as this man, Mr. Yellow B. Huh?
Let's talk about it. Is it my goal, Your Honor?
It is your goal when I land the plane, Counselor Fool J.
Duly noted, sir. Go ahead.
Indeed. So once again, Your Honor, we see the hypocrisy that is being used. But at the end of the day, Bud has every right to speak the truth on a man that's career has flatlined since 2023. Extending fair criticism in a competitive nature will hopefully kickstart a jump back into legacy. Because right now, Your Honor, Bud owns the Big Fish's legacy. The Big Fish has been missing since.
That's a strong statement right there.
Land the plane on that, Your Honor, because it is a strong statement.
Counselor?
Absolutely.
How are you after that tangent?
I'm great.
Let's make sure that we're respectful to everybody now.
I appreciate the Lincoln lawyer for again solidifying my point and my critique of Terence Bud Crawford, and to the people that support him. Funny, the Lincoln lawyer can accuse me of being a hypocrite, which is fine. But I can point out how the Lincoln lawyer is being extremely biased and selective in what he chooses to show you. Your Honor, could you please go to my screen selection, my screen share? Could you share that screen, please?
So you have more evidence. Okay.
Yes. Do you see that? That was a live recently done. What does it say up there?
I see Monkey Tuesday. Your Honor, absolutely disgusting.
Excuse me.
Disgusting
Your Honor, can you please read what it says up there?
Order, gentlemen. Look, gentlemen, before we continue on, I just want you to all know we're not running the kangaroo court.
Absolutely. Now, Your Honor, could you please read what the live stream says?
I have to zoom in on it. I can't.
Oh, no matter. I'll shrink the screen. What does it say?
It says Monkey Tuesday 21, 5 reasons why I support Bud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, monkey
what? Why I support Bud. And who do I have him up there with? Can you name the fighters? I know you can, Your Honor.
My primo, I see my primo, Guillermo Rigondeaux, aka El Chicao. Floyd Mayweather. We got Andre Ward.
Yes.
I see Devin Haney.
Yes.
And Muhammad Ali.
And who's in front?
Wilder and Terence Bud Crawford.
Right. And who is in the silhouette? That's the GOAT, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali, yes.
Okay. Doesn't that completely contradict what I'm being accused of? And mind you, I'm not on trial, but there was an attack on my integrity. I'll have none of it. I love, appreciate, and support Bud, and I want him to be close to perfect, because no fighter is perfect in outside the ring, but he needs to be close to it. And that's all I'm trying to protect him from himself. So for me to put him leading the charge in front of all of our brothers, whether they're active or inactive, I hold them to a high standard. And me, as a supporter of Bud Crawford, reserve the right to hold him accountable, which is why those charges want to be combined from a misdemeanor to a minor violation. I reserve the right to do that. He made a mistake. The sad fact is, when we support the mistake, everyone said it's a mistake. There is no way he says Errol Spence is not a Hall of Famer. That is impossible. No matter how much the criteria has changed, whether you want to talk about seat sales, pay-per-view sales, or overall accomplishments, Errol Spence did his career at 147. Bud has not. Bud just slid through 47, but Errol Spence did more at 47. And that is also his biggest fight. So you have to bring it back down to what the actual argument is about, because a Lincoln lawyer walked y'all around the block. And here's what's funny. Everything's up for interpretation. I asked, when was that Ryan Garcia picture taken? If you pull that picture up again, Errol's looking away. Ryan is notoriously known for photobombing people. Case in point, leading up to the Tank versus Frank Martin fight, Ryan Garcia in the gym with Frank Martin, while he's shadow boxing with headphones on, Ryan set up his camera, or had his cameraman follow him, and he started shadowing with Frank. Frank didn't ask for that. Are we going to say Frank Martin co-signs with Ryan's racist behavior? No, he had nothing to do with that. Errol had, would Errol take that picture with him right now? I'm going to say no. Bud stood on business. Don't try and put that on Errol. That's a nice try. That was a real nice try. As far as Daniel Kennedy is concerned, when Bud Crawford went to Dubai to go talk to the leader of NTK Global, Daniel Kennedy was already seeking refuge in Dubai on a run from Ireland. Now, how is it that we knew that, but nobody in Bud's team knew that? Or did they and not care? Because he was looking for what? A bag. And we held him accountable for that. The Lincoln lawyers just said that. He said he'd served his time. You don't serve your time for no reason, which means at one point the Lincoln lawyer held him accountable. So did Bud know that this guy was a criminal? Maybe. Did he care? I don't know. That's up for interpretation, but the American media is too stupid to even ask him that. I would. And I'm also singing his praises that he didn't solidify any business dealing with him. You took a picture with Tyson Fury after he cheated Deontay Wilder. He had to have known that. But he still took his behind down there and did it. And still, I do this live. Top 5 reasons why I support Bud. And the Monkey Tuesday was for the people who don't support Bud. Because I can look at his accomplishments and celebrate that, brother. But at the same point, you can't sit on the couch with 2 non-boxers and say what you said, brother. You can't do that. Errol Spence is your biggest and most important win. You didn't get Pacquiao because of the man you did business with. You sued him for racial discrimination and the case disappeared. What happened? We don't know. Somebody has to ask him, or y'all gonna even bother. But if you like it, I love it. I just want this brother to be what? Careful. What he said on that show was ridiculous. And he needs to do better. He absolutely needs to do better. Errol Spence Jr. is a Hall of Fame fighter. He gave you an opportunity, and you're literally not only biting the hand that feeds you, you're crapping on him. Whether Errol Spence comes back to boxing or not is irrelevant. The car accidents, the drinking, irrelevant. We're talking about what Bud said on that couch. We need to remain focused. Damn it. We need to remain focused. Don't get blindsided by dragging by all the things, because you know what? At no point did I say the Lincoln lawyer was wrong about the timeline. He's right. Errol Spence got on Twitter and said, one thing I would take back is drinking. He's right. Car accidents. He's right. Did he have a friendship with Yellow Beezy? He's right. But all of that is irrelevant to what Bud said on that couch. Irrelevant. We're dealing with the facts, because I speak at the facts. And I'll land the plane right there.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, before I make my closing salutations, I would like to share my screen and give you actual facts so you can further see where my client's whole logic and whole rationale is coming from. So if you can please share my screen, if you.
I'm trying to. Oh, hold on. I gotta remove this clipboard. Oh.
Here before you is the inductees, the modern inductees to the Hall of Fame. Of course, on the top you see here Muhammad Ali. You have guys like Henry Armstrong, of course, Carmen Basilio. But I want y'all to know, while we can, look at these records. 56-5. That equates to over 60-something fights. Multi-time champion. Henry Armstrong, multi-time champion, as well as being
Your Honor,
a multi-divisional champion.
Relevance.
The relevancy, Your Honor, is that I'm showing you who is
Please
inducted.
elaborate.
Modern day fighters that were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Joe Frazier, multi-time champion. Joe Louis. Look at these
Your Honor,
guys.
what does this have to do
Look
with what Bud said on the couch?
at Willie Pep. Over 229 wins to 11 losses. Went up and down through the divisions. Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay. Charlie Burley. Dick Tiger. Look at these are Hall of Fame type records. Michael Spinks, 31-1. Now that's the closest record you could see to Errol Spence, but Michael Spinks was a champion at light heavyweight and a champion at heavyweight, as well as being a Olympic gold medalist. Therefore, he's highly deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. Even though some may say that his career was cut short after that Tyson after his first loss. But look at these records. This Italian guy, 115 wins to only three losses. Come on. This is what it takes. Lennox Lewis, multi-time champion, Olympic gold champion. These aren't no light characters. Undisputed Costa Zoo, multi-time champion. Vince Phillips knocked him out the first time he was champion. Then he on his second campaign, he became undisputed. What is we talking about? Arturo Gatti, the man's that everybody likes to use as an argument of why he should be why he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. In actuality, he's a multi-divisional champion. with damn near 50 fights. Like, look at these names. People want to throw in guys like Rocky Balboa, but he's not part of this list. Because you know why? The Hall of Fame also recognizes characters and icons outside of the ring, such as reporters, such as promoters that have done great work for the sport, and such as the character in Rocky. That's Rocky's criteria. But Errol Spence's criteria is right here. And it's still left undone. And what our brother Budrick's words of encouragement is merely doing is giving a kickstart to a man that's missing, that's been missing since 2023. He's on the path. He's on the path of being a Hall of Famer, but Errol Spence, in all actuality, has stopped. He's stopped short. And once again, I reiterate that it's Bud that owns Errol Spence's legacy right now. And it's for Errol Spence to get back on the snide. It's for Errol Spence to get back on the horse and try to recapture either 147 or 154 to solidify himself as a Hall of Famer. Because once again, in 2023, July 29th, that was his legacy statement, cementation of being in the Hall of Fame. But he absolutely fell short, wasn't even competitive, got washed, rinsed, and dried, and hasn't been seen since. Now, with what I've just shown you about all the great fighters who have been inducted, and you've seen, once again, multi-divisional champions, undisputed champions, champions that have well over 100 fights, champions that have are 3-time, 2-time champions who have done great things for the sport. Errol Spence hasn't done great things for the sport, hasn't built an academy, built a gym in his community. There's no streets named after Errol Spence. Errol Spence is not a gold medalist. Put him in the Texas Hall of Fame, Boxing Hall of Fame. But as far as being in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, our brother Budrick has fair criticism which he is extended to his contemporary, which he's still competitive with. The pound for pound king will hopefully kickstart Errol Spence's return. I'll land the plane on that. The case is closed. Once again, this case is frivolous. Your Honor, this is a land of free speech.
Your Honor.
And the king, the pound for pound king, is none other than exhibiting that.
Okay.
Your Honor. Before I come to you, Counselor, I just wanted to ask, was that your closing argument?
That's what he said.
Okay. Okay, I just had to make sure.
Your Honor, I will speak for myself.
Sorry.
I will. Yes, those were my closing statements. However, if there's any other assertions that I will have to address after the Counselor Fool J's dialogue, I will proceed as such.
May I proceed?
Please, Counselor, please.
Okay. Once again, the Lincoln lawyer has walked you around the block, and he's literally proven my point. He refers to Bud's actions as words of encouragement. No. There's something called constructive criticism and ridicule, which what has been adapted as the term hate. And this is hate. I stand on what I said. For those of you who just came in, this is a misdemeanor charge, subdivision STR 8-H8, attempted legacy suicide. That's one charge. Jealousy of contemporary, which would be Errol Spence, one charge. But I was willing to combine the two to reduce this to one count of idiocy, which is only a minor violation, which means we can get past this, like we've done with Bud. Now, to further prove my point, you just heard Counselor Lincoln, lawyer, state that in his rhetoric about Bud's accomplishments and what he's done for the cities that he's in and has street names named after him and how Errol does it, this further proves my point. Could you share my screen? Your Honor, please. Yes, Errol Spence has a street named after him, Errol Spence Jr. Street, and Texas, where the city where he was raised. The street is officially named in 2023.
All right.
You
can show us the Google Street View, Your Honor.
Your
Honor, I demand to see the Google Street View. I demand to see the Google Street View. Since it's 2023, I demand to see the Google Street View because I'm only seeing AI. I'm only seeing the AI overview.
In my courtroom.
Show me the Google Street View.
Thank you much. This is my time.
Continue. Overruled. Okay. Please continue, counsel.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the second time the Lincoln lawyer has done that, and I proved it. First time he said that Bud Crawford didn't put Tank on his pound-for-pound list, and I said he did. I played it. This time he said there was no streets named after Errol Spence. I just showed you. So that says that's a testament to the credibility of Bud Crawford's defense. You know what it is? Bud Crawford doesn't need defense because he knows what he's doing. And what we're actually doing is defending Bud by not holding him accountable. Not me. Because I am a direct representation of everything in the sport of boxing. If you do something well, I'll speak on it. Case in point, when Ryan Garcia lost to Tank Davis, I was happy. When he got with Derrick James and he fought, forget the guy's name, in Houston, I said, you know, Ryan looked fairly well in that fight, and if he can continue to do this with Derrick James, he'll be great. And then the racist stuff came out. So I did what a black man is supposed to do, is I just fell back from him. Just as I fell back from Derrick James, but that's something else. Maybe I'll bring up a case on him. But in closing, regardless of what the Lincoln lawyer is saying, I refuse to be petty. I stand on reducing the two charges to one minor violation because I do have love for Bud Crawford. I just need him to do better. I need him to display better character because it is apparent that he's clearly jealous of Errol Spence for reasons that he can't even explain outside of the unconditional love that Errol is getting. I don't know. Maybe Bud is just saying, hey, man, this guy's a drunk. He flipped his car. I stay in the gym. And I still can't get the same recognition. What do I always say about these people not counting their blessings? Count your blessings, brother. You're great. You're still undefeated. You beat your number one contemporary, your rival. But you know what bothers him? That fight don't happen unless his contemporary said so. There lies the jealousy. And that's something he's going to have to live with. And he better be careful. He better be real careful. Because dare I say that, could there be a lack of education? I don't want to go there. I don't want to put that on Bud, but he better be careful. Because I am picking him to demolish Canelo Alvarez. But if he's not focused, you know what our chat's going to look like if he loses, especially if he loses badly. But let's go, Bud. But watch your mouth. And I'll land the plane right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would like to rebuttal once again some of the statements of Counselor Fool J. If you could please share my screen. And this is what I deem as concrete evidence solid facts, because while counselor claims that he speaketh the facts, his facts come and are spoken from AI. My facts are actual factual Google imagery from 2024. And as you can see, we're on the corner of 33rd and what? Allow me to zoom in a further bit more so y'all can see. Terence Bud Crawford Street, formerly known as Larimore Avenue. This is what we call an extended street name bracket that's holding the Terence Bud Crawford Street name plate on. Actual facts. We have yet to see the street in DeSoto that Councilor Fool J is talking about. So once again, can we call this idiocy when a city government as big as Omaha, Nebraska, a major center in Nebraska, has gifted this man due to his achievements and his work in the community. His work in a community that's been known as being destitute and downtrodden. Last time I checked, DeSoto was a nice middle-class, sleepy bedroom community outside of Dallas. Let's be real. Huh? This ain't no Oak Cliff. This is DeSoto. A small little so-so little suburb outside. So let's not compare the two. Okay? And let me remind y'all. If you can share my screen once again, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. So. Is this pertaining to the case?
Yes.
Okay. Now you want to ask if it's pertaining to the case.
We are still looking. We are still looking for Errol Spence. You can buy your boxes. $ usual 50-50. But these are actual facts. We are looking for the big fish. But while we are looking for the big fish, it seems like the big fish's money has been invested in the slander of my client. To put him behind bars for these charges is absolute ludicrous. Once again, he is the pound for pound champ. He is the man that's been standing up for legitimately for his community, supporting boxing worldwide, whether it's male or female, while this guy has been missing. Buy your boxes for $10 each. We can never do this to the pound for pound champ. But this guy has been missing. Once again, hopefully the words of our brother Budrick will kickstart this ninja into getting back into the ring and resuming his Hall of Fame career, because right now he falls short and his legacy is owned by Terence Bud Crawford. I land the plane.
Yes, sir. I think it's time to make the ruling. It's time. What were you narrowing the charges down to?
Counselor? Yeah, 1 count of attempted legacy suicide,
One
one
count
count
of
of jealousy of contemporary. I wanted to combine the two and reduce the charges to one count of idiocy, which makes this a minor violation. Because this isn't the first time he's done this. According to what you said, he was tried, convicted, and held accountable. So here he is again. And I just want to reduce this amount of violations so he can still walk the streets freely. Because I love Bud.
So as far as case 0.0033 in the LDBC court of law, we find the defendant, Bud Crawford, we find him guilty. That's my final ruling.
You're absolutely ridiculous.
Guilty. I believe counselor had a very strong argument towards the later stages.
This court's a sham. See, this is why there's travel advisories for black men coming into the United States, because our supposed national treasures are being lynched and thrown behind bars for frivolous charges. And the council sits there and laughs in the face of justice.
Oh shit! I got a crib. Ow!
Absolutely, utterly ridiculous. You were supposed to see just ice, and we just got just tea.
That's
Um,
all right. He just got to pay a fine.
he just got he's not being detained.
It's still on his record. It's still absolutely on his record.
Well,
this is
unjust. He can work it off. He can work it off.
Work what off? He's the king. He's the pound for pound king, legitimately. And we lynching him.
And we'll take it off his record in 6 months.
I'm advising Bud to leave and represent Uganda.
Well, I wouldn't be
and
mad at that.
This is what it would have looked out if he was free. This is what it would have looked like.
That's the only way it should have been.
He would have still.
We want to talk about kangaroo. This ain't a kangaroo court. This is a monkey court.
Well, no.
It's a monkey court.
Refrain from the language.
I besmirch this this so-called court as justice.
Good night.
Indeed. Good night, niggas.
Let me bring my bros up. Oh man. On the real joint, this was a classic.
I love it.
Was a classic. Gotta give y'all credit, bro. Y'all definitely did y'all things. Y'all reflected very well off each other. Steels, you was cooking hot real early. I ain't gonna lie. To me, I thought Steels was gonna win it, but when you did come back at the end, Drew. I gotta keep it real. You even had 503 in the comment like, "Dang, Drew is cooking right now. He's cooking." Steel's exhibits was crazy though.
That shit.
Even though you thought it wasn't pertaining to he was illustrating the purpose though. I see where he was getting at. It did kind of, for all y'all that was saying it really tied to the case. It did because he was going back to the whole legacy thing and arguing the fact of why he feel like Earl shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. That's why he did that diagram. You know what I mean? Showing the
You
years.
know where it falls
and
short
that
though?
happened.
Real talk, it falls short because we have no real criteria on what the Hall of Fame is to get in there anymore. Once you let Rocky Balboa's ass in there, and then once you put Arturo Gatti in there off of sympathy points, and he went out, he was murdered. You know what I'm saying? But you put him in there, then it's like, what's the criteria anymore? You got actors in there.
He's multi-divisional, and once again, the actor, the situation with the actors is not. He's not being inducted in the same category as the fighters.
Right.
That's a separate category with that's put with the promoters and the journalists and people that have brought forth or supported or changed the sport in a certain way. And the Rocky films did put the sport on a spotlight.
It did. However, what happens is casuals don't know what we know, and they lump everything up into one pot of gumbo. You understand? And that gives them like some daylight to come to our channels and try and argue things down. Okay, Gaddy's multi-divisional, but for those who know, he was an ass whooping waiting to happen. When he fought his contemporaries or above, he got beat up, but they love him. And he sold seats in at Atlantic City. Every time he went up in there, he sold out.
He got beat up in a multitude of memorable fights.
Yep.
So we can't take that away from him. That's why the people loved him
Absolutely.
so much, because he was in memorable fights.
Right.
And not only so much the people that in a sense conduct or write out the sport, the media, the boxing
Right.
journalists, the committees. If they're on your side, then what's we talking about?
Right, which is why Deontay Wilder's supposed to be done and hang it up, and Errol's supposed to be done and hang it up. But we've seen a lot of other fighters. I mean, look, nobody said Manny Pacquiao was done after Marquez flatlined him in that fourth fight. If Manny Pacquiao retired right there, I'd have completely understood. I'm like, man, he rattled something that he can't fix. But people, by the time he got up off the floor, they wanted to see a fifth fight. I remember that. I said, damn, he just woke up. They wanted to see a fight number 5. So that's why there's a fine difference between what we do here and what the others do. The others are supposed to come in on all humble and listen to Usual Suspects and me and Stormy and BF and 78. They're supposed to listen. They're supposed to play the backfield and learn some shit. You understand? So the Hall of Fame criteria conversation, I mean, pound for pounds are subjective. Very subjective. I don't mind that. But place in the Hall of Fame, I mean, I don't want that to be subjective, but that's how it's turning out to be nowadays, which is why it's like, damn, man. You know, it's rough, man. But listen, I gotta run. I gotta take the kids out.
Yes, sir.
Man, I love this, man. Yo, salute, act. This was fun.
Yeah. Good.
My brother Oddfella is on it. Bro, I didn't expect all of that shit. That was fucking good. That was good, man. That was good. You got to show me how you did that with the graph. Oh man, that was fire. I was shocked. I said, "Oh shit, what's this?" I was like, "I'm getting cooked." Oh shit, I'm getting cooked.
I like that one when he showed the car accidents.
Yo,
I had to let that rock. That was hard.
Bro.
That one was fire.
My stomach was cramping, bro. Because you know why? You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about a joke when the shit be true? I'm like, yo, you smashed your shit up. You know, yeah. Errol has been irresponsible. Yes. But those graphs with the car accidents, man, that shit took me all the way out.
Yeah. That one was that to me. That was
out.
the best one. That one, I was trying not to laugh. I was trying to, hold my composure with that one.
I fella never delete that.
Yeah.
Never delete that.
Bro, we gonna
That
keep
is
it.
classic, bro.
Might have to have a repeal.
He said we might have to have. Okay.
Have a refill.
I look. I'm looking for somebody. I want the Tank case. I don't know nobody that's going to defend Tank. I want somebody. I got plenty of people that'll prosecute Tank. I really want to bring. I really want Tank up here. You know,
I do it every day. I'm exhausted.
I know.
I ain't taking that envelope.
He said, I feel you. That's a hard one. That's a hard case.
Hey,
You might
man.
have to do extra.
If you find one, I'll pull up and watch because I'm just exhausted with that guy. I'm exhausted. But anyway, man, yo, I gotta run. Yo, salute to my brothers, man. I love y'all. And
Appreciate
we're gonna
it.
talk,
Once
man.
again.
Salute to the usual suspects. I love all y'all brothers, man. Salute to the mighty LDBC. And I will catch y'all.
Yes, sir. Steels, man, you wanna let them know any any announcements or anything, bro, before we get out of here?
I'm salty right now. I ain't really feel like talking, bro. It's an Earl Grey day. all this goddamn tea sipping and shit, nigga. Like, what's going on in here? But salute to the biased chat, so-called jury. I don't think I might have had a couple supporters, you know what I mean? Looking out for Bud and looking out for the Lincoln lawyer, but once again, this was a shameful day up in here in the LDBC courts. Bud will return, cooking his shit, staying active, and continuing to be the champion he has been for well over a decade. Continuing to be the standard of what a Hall of Famer should be. Let that sink in to the open minds that are in the chat. Make sure y'all buy your boxes with open hearts, because we are still finding or trying to find Errol Spence, as well as Marios Barrios. $ usual 50/50. Guaranteed $250 of all the boxes are sold out. Once again, make sure y'all tap into shopusualsuspect6.com. We got some new summer outfits for the ladies. Make sure y'all tap into the Eventbrite. LDBC meet and greet tickets are on sale. Make sure y'all get them, because Big 78 saying, yo, if y'all don't get your tickets, it will be 100 at the door. So get your tickets now before they sell out. I mean, because it is a limited amount. But y'all know what it is. It's your favorite yet your most hated Lincoln lawyer. Another great episode of Night Court. Salute Judge Galvatron. Salute Counselor LL Fool J. Make sure y'all subscribe to Drew Titan. Salute to the usual suspect 6. Salute to the LDBC. And I'm Gizon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Salute to the family, man. Appreciate Steels always holding it down, doing this thing when it comes to night court or day court in this case. Salute to all y'all in the chat. Y'all really showed up. Yeah, we gotta try to do more, get more cases. Yeah, man. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets for the meet and greet, and make sure y'all get y'all tickets for the 50/50. With that being said, salute to the LDBC, salute to the full Berserker clan, salute to the usual suspects. I'm gonna leave you with a word from our sponsors, and we out of here, man.
Y'all know what it is. It's the usual suspect 650/50 draw. Buy your tickets now for your chance at winning half the pot. Cash App, $ usual 50/50. Tickets are on sale for $10 for 1, $20 for 3 tickets, and $50 for 10 tickets. Put your desired amount, name or alias, as well as your email address, and your tickets will be set. We announce the winning ticket numbers every other Friday on Supreme Beats Boxing Talk Bullshitting on the Beltway, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC Las Vegas. Shout out to the LBDC. And remember,
it's a usual suspect.